Hello everyone, welcome to Omer's Garage. Well, today we are going to be working on the rear brakes for the Porsche 911 Carrera. Brake pads need to be serviced, so I'm going to go ahead and be taking care of that today, and I have my special assistant today. Say hello, special assistant.
Hello, I'm Victoria.
She's Victoria, and she's going to be helping me out today. So we're going to be just doing the rear brakes today. I believe, just looking at from a visual inspection, it looks like that's where those are the pads that are wearing out. You can actually see them through the wheels. You can see the pads, and you can see that they are pretty low. I know it's going to be difficult to see here, but I did a visual inspection, and I'm guessing right now that the rear ones are the ones that are causing the issue. I hooked up my OBD2 scanner to it. It doesn't pop a code in the OBD2, so there's no way it can't figure out from the sensors which one is the one that is low. So you kind of have to do visual inspections, or you can actually get a tool that will measure the width of the pads. I don't have one of those. I probably should pick one of those up. It'll probably make things easier. But right now I'm going to do the rear pads. If for some reason I find out that it's not, the front ones are also bad, if their sensor doesn't go out, then I will go ahead and just order the front ones. But for today, we're just sticking to the rear pads. We're doing both the rear pads. Jacking up the car now. Just want to show you the jack point. It's actually right kind of in front of this flap up here. So your jack point's going to be right there where that circle is, and that's where you're going to want to set your jack on. Alright, I'm going to be starting on the other side today, and I actually started this yesterday, but I had to leave after I finished the first side, so I'm going to start on the second side. Again, it's just a 19 millimeter deep socket, and I'm using a 3/8 with an adapter, 3/8 to 1/2 inch, because the socket that I have is a 1/2 inch.
Alright, so we have 5 of them out, and that means the wheel can come off.
Like I said yesterday, I have 2 herniated discs in my back that I had surgery for, so I always do modified ways of doing these jobs so that I don't have to do any heavy lifting. That's why I'm on the floor. These have been pretty cleaned. These calipers are clean because I took them off when I did this. So I'll clean them up a little bit with some brake cleaner. And as you can see, let me try to get that in there. These are the brake wear sensors, so I might be able to take those out now. Sorry about I'm trying to get a shot, but I'm trying to look in there right now. I'm gonna try to see if I can pull these out now. But from there, you're gonna have 2 bolts. You have one here, and then you have another one on the bottom. And those are, I'm using T50 Torx bit screw drivers in order to remove those. And then this whole caliper comes off this way, and then you can remove the pads. On the Carrera S and some of the other Porsche Boxsters and things like that, you can actually remove them from up here. These are the base model, so the brakes are a little different, and you actually have to remove you have to remove the calipers. Now, because of that, I mean, I'm thinking eventually I may end up, buying a set of the S brakes, just because it's a way easier to replace the pads on those. So, we'll be doing this, and obviously, if you're replacing the rotors, these rotors seem like they probably have one more life left. I mean, there's no major grooves or anything in them. I run my nail. There's no gaps. The lip's a little bit, indented, but it's not bad. But in order to remove the rotors, you just have a couple of screws that you need to, either with a wrench, with an impact gun, or there's different tools where you hit with a hammer to get those off. And this whole thing, once you have the caliper off, this comes off. So it's pretty straightforward also. But right now everything looks fine. I'm going to be doing the pads, and I'm going to try to see if I can remove those sensors first. Alright, well, I'm going to be using I have a 250. I'm not sure if you could use a slightly larger one, because it fits kind of loose, but it doesn't seem to be stripping it or anything. So I'm using that 250 right now in order to get these Torx bits out. Alright, so these come out. Alright, I'm going to go get a twist tie to tie it up so it doesn't put any pressure on the brake pad. Probably should leave a bolt on there, but it's on there pretty tight right now. There you go. You can just use something to pry this off with. There you go. Just to loosen it up, this whole thing should just slip right off. There you have it. Now I'm going to zip tie this, and honestly, it looks like these aren't to the wear sensor, so it might be the front pads that need to be replaced. So right now I'm going to zip tie this to there in order to make sure this doesn't fall. So now you can use a small C-clamp or vice grips or something to compress this. I'm using a caliper tool. It makes things a little quicker, a little easier. Now you can remove the pads. Now you want to clean this up. So I'm going to spray some brake cleaner on there, and that's what it looks like once the pistons are compressed. You can see the piston down there. There's two of them. So you can clean all this up. These are the wear sensors. I'm going to end up removing these. Actually, I can do that now. And just follow it and unclip it from wherever it's clipped into. Just remember where it's clipped into. It's kind of what it looks like. Now these, I don't think, I'm not sure. This one's definitely already started digging into it. The other ones on the other side were a lot worse, but I'm starting to think that the front sensors are the ones that are bad. So we'll see. Once I replace this, if the light doesn't go off on the instrument cluster, then that means that it's probably one of the front brakes. These look a lot lower. They are definitely lower. These are a little better on this side than they were on the other side. The other side was definitely more worn. So, and these go just in here. You know, they were definitely touching the sensors. Sorry. They were worn down to the sensors. But I guess we'll see. You know how bad they were. This is just brake system grease. It's high temperature grease. I'm going to put this on the pads too, on the edges. I'm going to put some on the edges here, just a little bit, nothing crazy. And that's right before we put these back in. So you're going to go ahead, you slide in the bottom first, you press down, and then you insert. And then you press them in. Yeah, let me grease up the other ones. And then you'll put the sensors in afterwards. Alright, those are in. Now we're going to have to cut this in order to put this back on to here. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Fit right on, and then you got to line it up. Grab one of the bolts, and we're going to line this up back here. I'll probably pick up a couple new bolts next time. You know, I don't want them to get stripped or something at some point and having a hard time getting them off. So the next time I change the pads, I'll probably get some of these bolts. They're not expensive. Alright, so we're getting these bolts in. Make sure that they're not, you're not cross-threading it. You have to make sure that they go in pretty smoothly. So you have to make sure that it's all lined up. And I usually try to hand tighten these as much as I can, just so that to avoid the cross-threading. Obviously, these are very expensive calipers, and I don't want to mess anything up. So these are torqued down to 63 foot-pounds. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to use my gun on the lowest setting just to get them on now. Once I got them most of the way on. on this gun, there's a button on the bottom, and you can actually, I think it's like the first setting is like 30 foot-pounds or something, then 75, and then I think 150 or something like that. I'm going to put it on to the second setting, which I believe is 75. I'll go over it with a torque wrench. So we'll get to 63 foot-pounds, and then I'm at 60, and then I go to 3. So now I'm at 63. And I'm going to torque these down. .63 foot-pounds. We're good to go. Now we're going to go ahead and grab that sensor. I'll just take a screwdriver or something to push that in all the way. There you go. This cable goes through here, and this one's going to clip same way here. Actually, other way. I'm going to have to get in there to take a look at that one because I'm not going to be able to see it from here. This one here goes in here, and there's a couple other clips. Alright, so I'll go ahead and I'll start torquing these down to 96. And we're all done. All right, well, we're done with changing the brake pads out. So we just finished that right now. And so right now I am going to go ahead and just prime. I'm going to go ahead and prime the brakes. Make sure that's the last step you have to do. Just to make sure, and if you took the brake fluid reservoir cap off, make sure you replace that. But you have to pump the brakes several times in order for them to kick in. Otherwise, you're going to be without any brakes. So pretty much you're just going to feel super soft. Pump it a couple times, and you'll get a lot more resistance, and that's when you know they're good. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I believe I'm still getting the indicator, so I'm guessing the front brakes are the culprit. The rears look worse to me, but I knew the front ones needed replacing also. So we'll be taking a look at that soon.